Oh, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another hunting boot camp. Today I am talking all about concealment. So as I previously mentioned in another hunting boot camp, concealment is one of the three main keys of waterfowl hunting. It is a very, very big part of it because ducks and geese and all waterfowl have excellent eyesight. They can see in color and they have about a 340-degree field of vision. That means they can see all but 20 degrees, and that's why they move their head back and forth so they can see the full 360. So any little bit of movement, anything that might be out of place, whether it's just something shining or who knows, they can pick that out very well. So you want to make sure that you are concealed as best as possible, and you'll have a better hunt because of that. So the first tip is suit up. You're gonna want to obviously wear some type of camo or drab clothing, and especially try to make it blend into whatever you're hunting in. So if you're hunting cattails or cornfields, you're gonna want something like max 4, max 5, kind of like what I've got up here. This darker camo here, like from this hat, that wouldn't really blend in the best. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't kill ducks wearing that, but they're gonna pick it out because it's a little darker, especially if you're dressed head to toe in it. So try to get camo when you're picking it out. Try to get camo that matches the surroundings that you're going to be hunting in. So the second tip is cover up. And what I mean by that is cover up anything that can glare or shine and kind of give you away to the birds. So I'm talking about your hands especially, put some gloves on. Your face is another big one. Wear some face paint or a face mask. And, maybe ditch the sunglasses if it's a bright sunny day. Anything that can shine, and especially your face when you're looking into the sun, that the birds can just see you for miles. So you really want to be cognizant of that. So the third tip is to use the shadows. Use whatever available cover or the topography to help break up your shape. So like when I'm hunting, I hunt a lot in cattails. You want to stick back in the cattails, try to get out of the direct sun as much as possible, because it's just harder for them to see you. When they're just looking at a black spot, you blend in a lot better than when the sun's shining directly down on you. That you stick out a lot better when that happens. So use the shadows, and especially when you're doing like a layout blind out in a cornfield or something, find a natural depression, because if you just put your layout blind up on flat ground and that sun starts shining, those birds can see that shadow, and it's unnatural. I mean, they might not see the blind, but they can see the shadow from it, and it looks off. So try to dig down lower. Same thing with a pit blind. If you're picking out a spot to put a pit blind, dig it down as low as you can to help reduce the profile and help knock out those shadows from those blinds. So the fourth tip, and this should be fairly obvious, but this is a very, very tough one for new waterfowlers, is don't move. Especially if you hunt how I do a lot without using a blind, or even in an A-frame. You don't really have top cover, and it can be really tempting to look up and you want to watch the birds work and stuff rather than rely on just one person to call. And that's always a tough part for the new waterfowler, is they like to look, and I mean, who can blame them? I mean, you want to see the birds working in and everything, but you have to do your best to not move, stay still, rely on your shot caller, and you will have more birds in your spread. So going right off that is be quiet. You don't want to be seen, you don't want to be heard either. Birds can hear you, believe it or not, and I've had this happen many times where I'm hunting public ground, especially on those low wind mornings, the sun's coming up, there's not a lot of wind. You can sound just carries across the lakes and the wetlands and everything. You can hear people talking, laughing, whatever. You want to be as quiet as possible because the birds can hear you too, and they will flare off that. I've had it happen, I've seen it happen, and if you're hunting in a pit blind, you've got to be super careful because those things amplify sound. Same with boat blinds. If you drop something or you set your gun down too quickly or something, it's just a loud thud, and that will flare birds. So you got to be cognizant of that too. So the next tip is about camoing up boats and blinds, and this could be a whole nother video on its own, so I'm just gonna really kind of glaze over this really quickly. When you're painting them, use flat or ultra flat paints. You can get them at Walmart, Menards, any home improvement store or whatever. And don't just paint one solid color. You know, have a base coat of ultra flat paint, and then come back with some stripes or stencils of grass and weeds and stuff. And then you're gonna want to brush it in with natural cover from around it. And for like boat blinds, especially if you're going out somewhere and there's cattails or tules or wherever you're hunting, take a bungee strap and you can just bungee those things to your boat blind, and then you have that covered whether it's dead or alive, because hunt early season they're gonna be green, you hunt late season they're gonna be yellow tan colored. And then for blinds, like pit blinds especially, you want to, like I just said, dig them down as low as possible. You want to have a low profile, you want to brush it up, you want to brush up the edges, but you don't want sharp edges, because there's not a lot of sharp edges in nature. You want to kind of break up that silhouette as best you can. Same way with an A-frame, just brush it in with as much natural cover as you can find, and you'll have a better chance at shooting some birds. And the last tip is switch it up, and there's a couple different ways I mean this. So first off, if the birds aren't decoying for whatever reason, it might be your decoy spread, it might be your hide. Look at your hide, see if there's any glaring holes or anything that the birds might be picking out. Something like it could be the glint of a shotgun barrel, or maybe you don't have enough top cover and they can look right down in you and someone's moving around or something. Look at your hide, look at your spread, try to try something new, and if all else fails, leave your decoy spread how it is and move your setup off to one side or the other. A lot of us like to hunt having the wind at our back, so the birds come right in, they're cupped right in, and they're easier to shoot that way because you don't have to put as much of a lead on them. Well, they can focus right on you when that happens too. So by moving off to one side or the other, they're taking the focus off of you, they're looking right at the decoys, and you're gonna have crossing shots, which are still better than no shots. So if the birds are flaring, switch it up and you might have better results. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If I missed anything, please drop it down below so we can help out anyone else new to waterfowl hunting, and we'll catch you out there. See ya.